And yes, we are recording now, Neil, another Paralytic Activities podcast. And tonight, Neil, we've got Kev Kerr in the house.
Yes.
Now we're going to find out what makes him tick. That's what we're going to do. Now, Orange has a story and Orange spills the juice. And we may, if time, delve into the Conjuring films, especially regarding the Warrens. Kev's favourite two investigators, apparently. Now, Kev is in the green room. He's all dolled up. His lippies on. So, Neil, first, what do? We say,
"Hit it, Johnny boy."
Hello, and welcome to Paralytic Activities Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, kooky, weird, and spooky. All done with an ale or two. Hello, and
thanks, Quentin. He went on a bit then, did he? That's old Quentin Pinkerton, our paranormal detective from the other side, is our spirit guide, and that's a new intro, Neil.
Another one.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, we had Seth last week, Seth Constantine, and this week we've had Quentin Pinkerton. But Neil, I've got a surprise for you.
Have you?
I've got a surprise for everybody.
Have you?
Someone who we know within the paranormal field, Mr. Freeze himself, Mr. Dead Cold Paranormal, the Harry Seacombe of the paranormal, has also sent me an intro. Would you like to listen to it?
Oh, go on then.
Would you like to listen to it? Here we go. Take it away, Mr. Boner.
Welcome, my friends, to the Paralytic Activities Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, kooky, weird and spooky. All done with a proper cracking ale or two. How here, man? Sit back and pipe down and let these fine gents entertain you at the Boodog Tavern.
Jesus.
So there you go. Neil.
You warmed yourself up then, John?
Yeah, no, just turn the volume up now. I can see Kev in the green room going, turn it up.
And I was going to say to you, John, as well, brother.
Well, Neil, you know, I've only got 5 fingers on each hand.
Oh.
On each hand, Neil.
You've got 4 fingers and a thumb, actually.
Neil, we've got a paranormal out tonight, pal. What have we got tonight? We need to get going.
John,
this podcast.
It's not the best that you...
Oh, here we go.
This is St Austell's Cornish Best.
St Austell's is a good brewery now.
And I ain't saying that. Crafted ale, John. It's 3.4%, right? And I'm going to try it now because I've already tried it yet, and it did taste like a pasty. Here's
one I made earlier. Was it a Cornish pasty? That's by any chance?
Yes, John.
Or was it meat and potato?
3.4%, John.
No, Bill, is it a beer?
Just about.
Are we doing Paralytic Activity Podcast?
We have, yeah.
So it's a paranormal ale, isn't it? So
yeah.
just give us a rating.
To be honest with you, I could have had my Kellogg's.
That wouldn't surprise me, yeah, Neil.
But I will give that a 4.1 out of 5.
Talking to Kellogg's, Neil.
Yeah.
That's a breakfast cereal. You have it for breakfast.
Yeah.
No word of a lie, people. This is a true story. The one breakfast morning, Neil had a bowl of Sprouts. What the fuck is all that about?
I don't sprout, don't you, John?
Yeah. Would you put that on your Sprouts? What's it taste like? Does it taste like a Cornish pasty?
It don't taste too bad, John.
Thank you very much. St Austell's a good brewery now.
And I'm just saying, it's 3.4. Carling's 4.1, John. Exactly. There you go. Yeah.
I don't think it is.
It is, John.
Well, it's better than Carling.
It tastes better than Carling.
And it's Cornish best, Neil.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And that's not a Cornish sandwich from the takeaway shop.
Anyway,
what was your rating on the old house girl, pal?
4.1, John.
Was it 4? That ain't too bad.
It tastes so good for my ratings, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so Neil, the Amy Cox interview from last week is now 7 o'clock on a Wednesday. Has just hit YouTube.
Was it?
Yeah. So please go and check it out on YouTube and on Apple Pod and Spotify and Amazon, etc., etc. And just watch it 'cause it's a really good show. Isn't it?
Yeah,
really good podcast. Really good podcast. Neil, what you been up to?
You don't know what I've been up to, Johnny boy?
I do, Neil. I do. That's why I asked.
I went for a few beers Saturday.
Oh?
Walked in the pub and who was performing there, John? Yam Elvis. Right?
Anybody who don't know Yam Elvis is a Black Country inspired Elvis Presley impersonator. That's what he
It's
is.
the funniest tribute I've ever seen, John.
Yeah.
He's been mixed between Freddie Starr and Ken Dodd.
Oh, nice.
And I saw him in B&Q the other week. Right. Well, he was returning the sander.
Was he?
Yeah. But what a cracking bloke. John, he makes a living out of that.
I know, yeah.
He must earn about $1,000 a weekend.
I know.
And he's just, I think he's a genius, to be honest. Anyway, we've got Kev Kerr on tonight. And I was thinking, you know how my warped mind is, days, John?
You warped mind.
No, disrespect to Kev. You know?
We all know you've got a warped mind. Everyone who listens to this podcast now, your mind's warped.
But if my last name would have been Kerr, yeah, and I would have had a son,
yeah,
I think I'd have called him Wayne.
Well, I've heard people who actually do call him that. He's in the green room, we can't hear it.
He's smiling, no. I'm glad you're smiling, Kev. Yeah.
What else you been up to?
And that's it, really, John. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. It's getting rough round where we live, John. You know, John, someone has stole all the bus stop signs round Warsaw.
Doesn't steal anything now.
Where do these people get off, John?
I don't know.
I just don't get it.
I really don't know.
There's some horrible people out there. But, you know, we're here to brighten the atmosphere.
Brighten the day if we can, because it's a shit show at the minute. Neil, I found a little fact today, which I'm very, very interested in. You remember Mel Blanc?
Who?
Mel Blanc, Neil.
Oh, yeah.
He was the voice of Bugs Bunny.
Oh, yeah.
The voice of Bugs Bunny. This is a true story, this is, Neil. True story. True fact for you. Now, Mel Blanc was in a serious car accident that put him into a coma. Yeah. And after many unsuccessful attempts to revive him or get him to talk, the doctor asked, Bugs Bunny, can you hear me? Mel responded in Bugs' voice and said, what's up, Dad? They used this technique to lead him out of a coma. And that's why all the cartoons, he always said, what's up, Dad?
Really?
Apparently, yeah. That's a true story.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. So he just used Bugs Bunny's voice and he said, what's up, Doc? And that's why, not Doc, Doc. And that's why he used it in all his cartoons. What's up, Dad?
That's amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing, Neil. And do you know what else is amazing, Neil? You ain't going to believe this. I'm not going to believe this. Well, do you know, I've got a book, right? I've got a book there, The Halloweeners, by John Smith. I have some of that. You can get it on Amazon for a bargain price, £6.25. And it's a cracking book. It's a cracking book. But Neil, do you know, I have reviews on it. We've had some really good reviews from celebrities all around the world.
Yeah. And
we've had a few from the other side, Neil, and I don't mean ITV. We've had a few from the other side. Now, our spirit guide, Quentin Pinkerton, is our spirit detective, yeah? He's only got me a review from the paranormal legend himself.
Who?
Derek Akora.
Whatever.
I'm telling you, I've got a review on the Halloweeners from Derek Akora, Neil.
That's good.
It is. And he's actually done it through a spirit box.
Is he?
Through a radio frequency, Neil. And I'm going to play it for you all now, so please pin your ears back and check this out. A review on the Halloweeners book from the other side, from the legend, Derek Akora, Neil.
Hello. It's me, Derek Akora. From the other side. Bless. The high side of life has instructed me and my spirit friend Sam to read John's book, The Halloweeners. Bless. Now, I loved it as much as Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. What's that, Sam? Sam's told me that not only does she love Dick, she loves the Halloweeners and Paralytic Activities podcast. Bless. 5 stars.
So there you go, Neil. How about that? How fantastic is that?
I'd love to have met old Derek Akora.
And me, Neil, you met one in the pub, didn't you? Like an impersonator.
He was an Indian bloke.
Was he?
He was called Derek Akora.
Derek Akora, was that right? And then he do Narn readings.
He did do
Narn readings. He did, yeah.
He now goes down the canal and he's going to be in Barger.
Bit of a light humour there for you people. But
Yeah.
that was actually a Derek Akora from the other side,
That's
Neil.
brilliant.
Reviewing the Halloweeners book. Let me just get up here. The Halloweeners book. It's Amazon, $6.25, a little plug there. And Paul Stevens has now got it. And hopefully it's going to go through Dead Good Publishing.
Great.
With a bit of luck. So there you go.
Fantastic stuff.
Neil, I'm ready to bring in Kev. He's all ready.
Yes.
His lipstick's on. He's ready to go and rock and roll, Neil.
Yes, he is.
So let's bring him in.
All right, pal.
How are we doing? All right.
Yeah. Sorry about the wine jar, mate. It's just... You probably heard it before.
I've heard worse.
Have you?
That's my brother Juan. He's all right.
What did you think about that message from the other side? How brilliant is that?
That's unbelievable. Completely unbelievable.
For somebody who don't believe chapel, that is a good comment, that is, John.
Yeah, that was actually Derek from the other side. Anyway, Kev, thanks for coming on, pal. I really appreciate it. It's a long time coming. Please give us a brief synopsis of yourself for everybody who's listening who probably don't know what you're all about. And when I say brief, I mean brief.
I'm Kev Kerr. So yeah, I'm Kev Kerr. I'm a paranormal investigator. I've been doing it for like 15 years. Tend to go the skeptical scientific approach, but I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to pretty much anything paranormal. Just a lot of time investigating, a lot of time doing pretty much everything in the paranormal. So that's me.
That's great stuff. Kev, I know like you're a bit of a skeptic and that. So you used to go out investigating all these places, and nothing ever really changed your mind.
I've had some amazing experiences, like personal experiences and things. But you can find pretty much 99% of the time you can find an explanation, whether it's physical, mental, or anything else. You can find a reason why you might have experienced something. But I've seen full apparitions, disembodied voices I've heard, seen things move on their own. It's all these kind of major things that a lot of people wait to experience. I've had some pretty cool ones, but I think I need to get the data with it as well. I need to prove it. I can have all the personal experiences in the world, but if I can prove it to someone else, then happy days.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that leads on to a question. Someone sent me a question, Kev, and the question goes like this. Was there a defining moment when skeptic Kev became open-minded, Kev?
Defining moment.
A defining moment. I mean, I didn't really think that you was open-minded, but obviously, I think you have to be, don't you?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing between skeptic and open-minded. Open-minded is like, I can have a skeptical approach, but I'm not going to go, that's a load of bollocks or anything else to someone. I'm going to go, okay, tell me about it. I want to rationalize it, take a look at it. That's being open-minded. And I think for me, I took a bit of a break. And then I came back in, and recently I did a pilot for Somerset Supernatural, and we went to Walton Castle, and in a completely controlled environment, I had a very profound paranormal experience. And I think the reason why it was profound is because it was a controlled environment. There was nothing there that could have created what was happening. I don't know how much detail I can go into because it was for a pilot, and that's going through all different things. So, but there was an experience, a poltergeist experience that was like, I have no idea. And not to sort of blow smoke up my own arse with it, I've been in this 15 years. I've looked at every different thing in the paranormal, and I had every control possible in place, and I still got answers, still got everything else. It was a really, really surreal situation.
So obviously you don't want to go in too much into it because it's going to be, like you say, it was a pilot. So obviously this was caught on camera.
Yeah. So 4 cameras and 6 HD microphones picked it up.
So it was well covered, and that was what was. I got a few regrets about the situation from sort of forgetting there was a film crew there at one point, because and the reason why we were there was it was more about investigating what was happening there in front of us, whereas I probably could have been thinking about if people were viewing it so they could see, basically show these controls and show that like things were in certain places. But for me, as a personal experience, it was really eye-opening, as in it blew my mind. It took me about 2 weeks to get over it, and then followed by about 4 weeks worth of just epic levels of study trying to find out what I've missed.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're not skeptical anymore? You're more of a kind of still a skeptical believer, I would have thought, but you kind of sit on the fence a little bit.
Well, I started as a believer, so that's when I first got into the paranormal. Since I was a kid, I've been a believer, and then it was only sort of late teens, early 20s that the skepticism, learning about science, psychology, and that kind of stuff that made me a skeptic. Not in the sense of the word that people look at it nowadays. We say you're a skeptic, and they're kind of like, "Boo!" It's just going to ruin everything. It's like skeptic, as in I'm going to ask questions. I'm not going to accept everything as it is, because there's a lot of bull crap out there that it just needs to go away to find the truth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it kind of opened me up to start digging a bit deeper and probably more respecting people's experiences more. I respected it before, but now it's like, actually, so tell me all the details instead of, after years in the paranormal, you kind of get a bit, I've got a bloody word for it now, but you get a bit negative with it, where you kind of go, oh yeah, so that happened. Oh, it's probably that. Heard that story 1,000 times, that kind of thing. But all of a sudden, it kind of gave me a bit more life back in me to say, like, someone's trying to get in my house.
Oh God, let's go and have a look.
2 seconds.
You say?
There's someone trying to get in his house. Jesus Christ. He's got his baseball bat.
I'll tell them if it's not me.
Let's hope it's not a poltergeist.
What day?
You'll never guess who it is.
I can probably guess who it is.
Can you guess who just turned up at my house?
What a surprise.
Look what we have here.
It's still Loza.
You just come through the window.
I think she has. I think she's got a key, Neil.
Yeah.
Get your headphones back in, Kev.
Yeah, hold on. She's run up to the toilet. 2 seconds.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like we were just talking about. I think everyone starts out as a believer due to the kind of the TV shows we used to watch back in the day.
Yeah.
And then you, like say, you as you go along, you decipher what you think may be paranormal and what is a load of shite. Do you know what I mean? I think everybody goes through that, but there is a big chunk of people who still think everything. Well, they still think everything's paranormal. I think that's the biggest problem.
That's on the skeptical side as well.
Yeah,
that's the on the skeptical side. You get people who aren't willing to look any deeper than just past their own nose when they hear about something or they experience something, and then at the same time, that's just as big a problem as it is with the believers.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's like we kind of give up, don't we, Neil? And we went to an haunted museum in Stoke, and we got this voice out of nowhere, which was definitely a woman whispering in the room. And we thought, actually, it's dragged us back in, do you know what I mean? We think, actually, we can carry on with this, because we was actually going to give it up. That's happened
so many times in my sort of paranormal career. And that situation where I've kind of had enough, you especially when you're doing locations that you're paying for and things. When you're doing residential, it's very different. But when you're paying for locations, you're spending your Saturday night doing what was fun, and now it's boring and nothing's happening. And then when you do seriously begin to get in your head that you're going to give it all up, something insane happens. And then all of a sudden you get a massive buzz, and then you're back in it again. And you wait another 6-7 months until something happens again.
Yeah. So that begs the question, Kev, what is a ghost?
What is a ghost? Oh, that's a big question. So from what I can tell, it's more of a psychological hallucination. I think that's where the majority of the evidence points towards, is you have a personal experience. It's kind of personal to you. But then if you have a situation where 4 or 5 people go, "Oh, I saw this, I saw that," there tends to be a lot of communication going on between those people, which is basically psychological again. Especially when dealing with residential cases where people are having, either they're having psychosis or some sort of episode. All of these sort of reports that come in about ghosts tend to be either under stress or in hyperarousal, which is another thing in your brain. So it's like, I think for me at the moment, because it might change in 6 months, it might change in 12 months, it's changed over the years multiple different times. But I think for me at the moment, a ghost is a psychological hallucination.
Yeah.
So if you say you saw things move on their own, what that can't be an hallucination, can it?
No, but it can be remembered wrong, and that's the problem.
So you're kind of saying that you might. I mean, everybody can say this. It's like when you go fishing, you catch a little fish that big, but when you tell the story about 10 times, it's that big.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Is that what you kind of mean?
That's a perfect analogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that false memory situation where, at the time, so I was at Woodchester Mansion. I saw a table move.
Yeah.
And I definitely heard the table move, and the table had moved. But I was looking at it at the time. It was at the end of the hallway. It was like, that table just moved. And then from that, I can almost picture the steps in my memory where I saw that table move. And I can say that with all the confidence in the world, sit a polygraph, everything else, to say I saw that table move. But I can't be 100% sure that I saw it. It wasn't like I had video evidence to back up what I saw. I didn't have anything there to kind of go, that's what happened. Look on the camera. Yes, there it is. I've had multiple times when I've had, say multiple times, but when I've seen like a full apparition, I've had a camera on the situation and it's got nothing. So it still remains a psychological thing unless you can get the data and record it at the same time. So if you investigate properly, you can capture both. And then when it doesn't move on the camera that physically it actually hasn't done anything. You've just remembered it that way.
I do like that point, Neil, for the simple fact that the two things I can think of where I think maybe paranormal what's happened to me, my brain is kind of saying, did it happen? Did I imagine it? And then you think about it and you go, well, them chairs wasn't there when I went into this room, but they're there now. And I'm like, is it just myself? Is it my brain going mad? Am I forgetting something? Is there a loophole somewhere?
Well, John, it's like when I first started doing all this paranormal investigating within, I believed everything, Kev. I believed absolutely everything because I was all new to it, But now, even my brain's turned into a debunker. Right, because I just question everything, And I look back and I think to myself,
what a bloody idiot.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I was the same, Neil. I was the same. The first couple I went on, I was like, oh my God. So that shadow then, clearly it wasn't. It was just light reflection or something, or some of the torch down a corridor or whatever. It's strange. But Neil, I think Neil's got a question for you, Kev.
Oh, yeah, I've got a question, yeah. Me and John, we like to so-called haunted pubs, yeah? So, which so-called haunted pub would you like to sit in next to a roaring fire, listening to history of the pub, ghost stories of the pub, with some nibbles like nuts and savoury snacks, and just sit there and have a good chat?
Quite a few. Obviously, Lorien drops me all over the country at different places.
There's always one now, Kev. There's always one more drags you back there.
Don't say Witherspoon either.
Narrow it down. I reckon I'll have to go for Jamaica Inn.
Oh, interesting, Neil. Interesting. But I say that bar area is phenomenal, isn't it?
And as long as you're in that sort of that original section. I think it's an amazing location, amazing I've experienced quite a few things there as well.
Yeah.
But I think just to light the fire and it'd be dark and stormy and having a beer and a chat about the history, that'd be a very cool place.
Perfect night.
I have done it. So.
I mean, that's the whole reason we kind of still carry on, because we do try everywhere we go. My job is to find out where we're going to go to an abandoned ruin or something like that. But the most important thing is to find a good old coaching around the area so we can go and do our paranormal ale, have a chat, see where we're going to do and what we're going to do. And that's what makes the day, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes the day.
Right.
Kev, we've got a question from our good friend Claire from Don't Scare Claire.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to ask you, what advice would you give to a newbie who is interested into getting into paranormal investigations?
I would say start slow and learn. Don't come in thinking you know everything about the paranormal, because I can promise you don't. Anything that you've seen outside of the field and outside of what's the way to describe it? Outside of what we live and what we do, we learn the truth as we go. Lots of people come in, they believe in orbs, and as you said, it slowly evolves over time, and then you begin to understand it. I was very lucky in the sense of I've studied the paranormal from really young. Been obsessed with ghosts and 14 phenomena, all kinds of stuff, forever. But being in the field is very different. Being in the paranormal field and investigating it is very different. And you can have all these personal experiences, but you need to know how to sort of collect the data for it. So for me, it's just take it steady. Listen to the people who are already in it.
Yeah.
Don't try and run ahead of yourself. Right, I'm going to set up a group. I've never investigated the paranormal before, so I'm going to set up a group. We're going to chuck a load of K2 meters down because they're only a tenner on eBay or whatever, blah, 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 and then walk into an apparent haunted place and try and capture something. Like, it's just it might seem right at the time, but it's a stupid thing to do if you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got to blame people for that. We've got to blame the times, really. I think all that came about is because of COVID. People doing lives, and obviously YouTube. Let's throw a few cat balls down in the cemetery and hope for the best. And
most of the public
people were loving it because there's never nothing on the telly.
Yep.
So in lockdown especially, people were loving it, and people were getting thousands and thousands of people watching them, and they was believing it, and that just spawned other people to say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. All I've got to do is get a pet at home and get a couple of cat balls, and before you know it, I've got a video which saying there's a ghost nearby.
Yeah.
And I think,
it's bred like like most haunted bred a generation, and then through COVID and through YouTube, it's bred a whole new generation where you can make money from going live on an investigation.
Yeah.
But that comes with a lot of other issues as well, especially when, like, for me, I'm not one to go into abandoned buildings. And although I'd say it's a wrong thing to do, I'm not judging those who do, but it seems like a lot of the newer generation investigators are constantly in abandoned buildings. And that's only because it costs so much to get into, the likes of, it doesn't really cost that much getting to Woodchester, but, like Woodchester Mansion, those kind of places where you've got to have a team of you to go in to do it. And people want to put out content and gain likes and gain subscribers to gain, like, for the financial aspect. So there's not really any passion behind it. There's just this build an audience and entertain. So,
yeah. I mean, I've said something controversial the other day, Kev. You might actually see this is controversial or not. A majority of people who go out into the paranormal now, or people who go out on an investigation with a massive team, and they're going out on a paid event by one of these massive paranormal event companies. I class majority of it like how people go LARPing. That it's a hobby, and they're doing LARPing, which is, Neil, would you know what LARPing is? Where people pretend to fight with wooden swords, like in medieval times.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the paranormal, especially if you go on paid events, that it is like make-believe, it's pretend, and I think it's very damaging in my book. And things become a cult more than anything. And people who want to go out there and do it properly, not with a cat ball, but actually just go with a pen and paper or a bloody, not even a camera really, and try and catch something themselves for their own experience.
You used to be able to just walk up to a location, and just contact them by phone or whatever and explain what you do, and that you'd like to spend the night just to see, or you start discussing like things that they've had happen, and you're like, oh, is it okay if I come? Yeah, no problem at all. And you'd spend like the night somewhere, you haven't paid for it. The owner's usually very interested in what you find, but that's all dead and gone now, and someone really has to be living under a rock, a location owner, to know that people charge a lot of money for this stuff now.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue. Is it's created this massive business, which isn't a bad thing. Everything's got to evolve.
Yeah, of course.
And it's got us into these locations that we'd never get into before, or that kind of thing. But at the same time, gone are the days where you could literally be a lone investigator and say, "I'd like to look at your ghosts, please." Or let's see what you've got. I've heard, an old story from which I've found in this book, and they'll go, "Yeah, okay. So any chance I'd spend the night? No one lives there, or whatever. Spend the night and just investigate." Yeah, no problem. And they're just interested in what you find. But now there's a lot of bullshit in some locations where they just make up a load of ghosts, knowing that there's going to be troops and troops of people turning up, paying big money.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, now you got another question, April.
John. One sec, John. Just keep it.
Here we go. It's all interruptions tonight, eh?
No,
It is, yeah.
It's a Loza, it's the orange. The cat burglar. The cat ball burglar.
Cat ball burglar.
Cat ball burger.
Anyway, Kev, I've got a question for you.
Go on.
If you could choose to actually see with your own eyes, what would totally throw a spanner in the works for you? What would you rather see? Would you rather see a ghost, an alien, or a cryptid?
Oh,
That's a good question. I couldn't answer this.
That's really good. So, an alien, I'm not too worried about. I think my idea of that is that they exist. They've got to, just in probability over anything. A cryptid would be awesome because, whether it's Bigfoot, Chupacabra, anything like that, just to see it, I'd be worried about what I'd accidentally been sniffing or God knows what, because it'll be like hell. And it's hard because obviously I want to see a ghost and see it and be able to investigate it, ask questions, do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think seeing a cryptid would be very cool. So I'm going to have to go with cryptid. I didn't think that'll be my answer, but when I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think mine would be cryptid as well. It really would.
I think I've seen a few damn Warsaw.
Yeah, probably.
Got no idea,
So, this is kind of the last of your serious questions, Kev. Even though they haven't been that serious, this is kind of the last of the serious questions. Kev, what would you like to be remembered for within the paranormal?
I think so. My big thing is ethics and doing things properly and gaining data and just investigating in the best possible way for the time that we are. That was one big reason why I helped start the UK Paranormal Society and that kind of stuff, was to try and make all investigators in the paranormal, at least at a base level, good at what they were doing in every possible aspect, whether it's looking after people, whether it's, the way and the method that they want to do it, that kind of stuff. I would like to be looked back in the same way, say like Harry Price, but not in some of his stuff's quite comical. But for someone who kind of changed the direction of the paranormal, that sounds insane, but aim high and all that. But someone who has changed the direction of the paranormal by kind of putting everyone on the right track as they come through, and because I'm not, in my lifetime, I'm not going to prove anything paranormal, but if I train 10 people to do it right, one of those 10 might train another 20 and so on, that in some way I will prove something within the paranormal, whether it's real or whether it's not, so yeah, that's my deep answer.
So basically you want to start a Kev Kerr's paranormal pyramid scheme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just offshoots.
Yeah.
Just everything in the paranormal. That's it.
But it's free. It's free. You haven't got to pay people. Kev, we got a question just come through. This is crazy. This is how this is happening. It really is, because we're only recording it. I don't know. It's not even live. I don't know how it's happening. But we've got another question again from Mr. Dead Cold himself, Mr. Freeve, the Marcus of the Boner, and he wants to ask you this.
How's it going, lads? And how's it going, our Kev? So, my question for you, sir, is, now you've been to the Hill House quite a few times now, what do you think of it? Do you think there is something there? Obviously, the last time you were there with our lozzer, and obviously weren't investigating. Did anything happen? Are you any more swayed to the thought that there could be something there? Cheers, lads. Hope to see all three very soon. Ta-da. How was it going?
Shut up.
Starting again. Your house is a magnificent place. Absolutely bonkers place. But so the first time I stayed there, the only thing I experienced, which was quite weird, sort of sat in the bar, talking to Duncan, the owner, and I swear the small bar door like closed a bit, and I thought nothing of it. I just thought, okay, it caught in the wind or whatever. I'd only been there probably 10, 15 minutes until I actually went over to the door, and it was solid to close. And it just kind of, as Duncan was talking to me just behind him, the door kind of shut, and it was like, when I realised how difficult that was to do and how much force you had to put behind, I thought, and it's one of those typical. I wasn't armed with a camera, I wasn't doing anything, we're just chatting. But it's got like an air of, it's like I never usually use this word, but mystical air about it. Something totally different. It's not like ghosts. It's something like really quite deeply spiritual. It's what I imagine spiritualists and things who go to like certain meccas, whether it's like Stonehenge or find locations where there's more like psychical energy. And Hill House is one of those places. It's incredible, but it has this vibe that you don't really get or never really experienced before. But I absolutely love the place. I absolutely adore it. You know, it's an interesting place. You know, Duncan's absolutely mad. He's brilliant. It's not a hotel, you know, as you would expect it to be, but it's so comfortable and homely and amazing. But yeah, the last time we were there, I didn't really get much. So, but it's just got a vibe. It's amazing.
It's like it's.
You guys have been, haven't you?
Yeah, it's. Well, I went, and it's like a. How can I word it? It's like stuck in a time warp on its own. Mm-hmm. You know, it's top of a hill. It's a fantastic name for an haunted house, anyway. If it is haunted, Hill House on top of a hill, Neil. No one around you, and you're just looking over the fields and the rolling hills. You know, and the house itself, it's like it's stuck in its own little world, isn't it? You know what I mean? And you go in there, and you feel like you're going back in time. And that's kind of that's kind of what you get. And then you got Duncan, who's daft as a brush, mad as a badger, but absolutely hilarious at the same time.
Yeah,
hilarious at the same time. So anyway, Neil, we're going to just crack on because, Kev, I don't know if you know this, but Neil next to me here is the most unluckiest, clumsiest person on the bloody planet. You know, is the kind of person who, if it rained naked ladies, he would still end up with a dick in his mouth. That's how unlucky he is. And we do a little section called Orange Spills the Juice. And this is another story from Neil's clumsy past. Neil, take it away.
Well, John, I'm really running out of stories. I really am. But I've dug this one out. I don't think I ever said it. But it was when I was about 15 years of age. I used to play down the park like with my mates. And we used to wrap the swings like, you know, and used to mess about and all that. Anyway, we used to jump off the swings and see how far we could jump. And this one time, I'm there, I must have been getting 50 foot in the air, John. No. Right. I'm there like, woo, woo, woo. And I put my arms inside the chains. The chains, like. Well, as I've gone up, I've just fell and face planted the floor, right? But I've sprained both my wrists, right? And all my mates are laughing. I was in absolute agony. I couldn't even roll out. I was on my front, like this. And mate was saying, "You're right," and I was screaming in agony. So he rolled me over onto my back. And before I know it, this dog runs over, right? Starts licking my face, right? Everybody's in stitches. I want in stitches, so I was going, get off me, his pink lipstick was hitting me on the nose and everything, you know. John, yeah, like that. He just nobody helped me, John. Absolutely nobody.
They can't pick you up. You sprained your wrists.
John, they could have picked me up. On one big round now, John.
Yeah, but your wrist, never down hurt your wrist.
When the dog was looking inside my mouth, in my eyes, everything, man.
It's been a while, eh?
Oh, shut up, Dick Splat. He was like a dog with a pincher type of dog, like, you know. And there was slob all over me, and there was maybe 2 spraying wrist on the floor.
It was slob, though, wasn't it? Was it slob?
It was slob, John, yeah. It wasn't a coffee pink lipstick, but I'll take it one anyway. You know, I got my Scooby-Doo tongue out now. No, but yeah, that was like a little story, like, you know, of what did happen.
And Kev, on that bombshell right there, on that bombshell, we're going to go straight into Kev Kerr's question time. That's what we're going to do. So, Kev, here we go. Kev, this one's called Skeletons in Your Closet.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a special skill, a party piece, or a talent that many people don't know about? Go for it.
I was once a salsa teacher.
Ooh.
What?
I love salsa with my nachos.
With nachos?
Yes. I love them with nachos. Yeah. Tomatoes, chilies, peppers, onions, have some of that.
You was a salsa teacher.
You know, the dancing.
The dance, John, because I know what he's on about. I've seen him on Paramount.
I saw him at the Flamingo. Was that what it was called?
No, it was a Blue Oyster.
The Blue Oyster Bar, that was it.
Send you to the bar. Where's he going? Yeah, I know that, kid.
That's fantastic. You'll have to show us next time. Show us some moves.
Yeah, why not?
Have you practiced with Loza?
No, she won't do it. She refuses.
Has Loza got big feet?
That's what?
Has Loza got big feet?
Oh, massive feet, yeah.
I know it's. You can tell Loza's got big feet, and that's not for salsa dancing, is it?
Well, I don't know. The salsa dancer got small feet.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to be standing on them, do you?
I don't know, John.
You can't stand on people with like a lady with small feet is perfect for salsa.
Sideshow Bob would be no good.
Sideshow Bob would be no good either. No, imagine salsa room with Sideshow Bob. It's not going to happen, is it?
That's great. That is, Kev.
That's a really good one. I like that one. So, question 2 of your question time. You are on a Ouija board, Kev. Even though you don't believe them, or if you do believe them, I don't really know. But you have contacted a dead celebrity, which is a celebrity who's passed. Who would you like to talk to, and what would you ask him?
I reckon Nikolai Tesla.
Oh, interesting.
And the reason why is because...
Who that is? Did he play ball? Not a footballer, no.
Did he make a car? Right, no.
Tesla. Oh.
But basically, because if there's any scientific brain that could possibly suss out communication between the afterlife and that kind of thing, is him. So if there was anyone to talk to on the other side who you could kind of rely on to tell you how to do it or what you need to do, then he'll be the perfect person, as far as I'm concerned.
What a fantastic answer.
That's a great answer.
That is a great answer, Neil.
Yes, I know.
If there's someone with his brain in his box,
yeah,
and he bringing ask Karen down the road, you're going to ask him, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Obviously.
Great answer. Great answer. Question number 3 of Kev's question time. You've organised a paranormal-themed dinner party, Kev. You can invite 3 people from the paranormal field, famous, alive, dead, whatever, or just people you know. You're having it in a haunted location. Who is coming to the dinner, and where are you having this dinner?
Well, obviously the wonderful Lorianne Jones will come with me. Darren Brown.
Oh yes, I'll tell you what.
Good answer.
He's one clever bloke, man.
Another one who doesn't believe in the paranormal. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Understands too much about psychology.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be interesting to see his viewpoints and actually talk in depth about it.
Yeah.
I think go through all that'd be amazing. The other one is Harry Price, because I've followed him since I was a kid, and it's kind of like it's one of those situations I'd like to be able to sit down with him as a paranormal investigator now compared to back then. He'd probably have a heart attack if he saw what the state of it nowadays. But
yeah. So,
having him at a table would be
between the interesting conversation between Harry Price and Darren Brown, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Very interesting, and obviously,
and Lorien going, I don't care what you say, Darren Brown. It's a ghost.
Yeah. Nuke's top 5 is real. I'm having none of it.
Nuke's top 5 is definitely all real. That's it.
Neil, we're going to go straight into asking. Do you know we've already done nearly 46 minutes?
Wow.
Gone like that.
Flies.
Because we're having fun, Neil, that's why.
That's great.
We're having fun. We're having fun. Podcast, Paranormal Wayne's World, that's what I keep saying.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
So this little section, Kev, is called Ask Kev. Now, it's usually called Ask Orange, but obviously tonight, you're our special guest, so it's called Ask Kev. So, basically, you haven't got to answer anything at this moment in time until I'll give you the heads up. The question is, don't answer nothing now until I tell you. Which location that you've been to is the dog's knackers? And what I mean by that, not just for paranormal, but for history, the hauntings, how awesome the building is from this list I'm about to give you. So basically, I'll start with one and then we'll go down the list and you give me the name over the other one, if you know what I mean. So we're just going to go straight into it. This place has got to be the full package where you've been, Kev, the full package. Here we go. Hill House or George Jarvis?
Oh, wow, that's a hard one. I have to say George Jarvis.
George Jarvis or Tettenhall Towers?
George Jarvis.
George Jarvis or Walton Castle?
Walton Castle.
Oh, we're getting somewhere now, Neil. Walton Castle or Shepton Mallet?
Walton Castle.
Walton Castle or Woodchester Mansion? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
It's got to be Woodchester.
Woodchester. Woodchester's pipping it, Neil. Just took the lead. Woodchester Mansion or the Jamaica Inn?
Woodchester.
Woodchester ain't got a bar, though.
That's the problem.
The Jamaica Inn or Chambercoombe Manor?
Jamaica Inn.
And your last one for Ask Kev, the Jamaica Inn or Guyscliffe Mansion?
Jamaica Inn.
So there you go, Neil. The Jamaica Inn has took the prize.
You know what?
Has took the prize.
I've only been there, put my head in the stocks, had a beer and went.
And well, it was the daytime then. We was coming back from where was we coming back from? Torquay.
Torquay, yeah.
Coming back from Torquay. So
I'll go on one of their investigator nights. They're absolutely brilliant.
I love to.
I must say, when I went, Kev, I had a fantastic time. Me and a good friend and his missus and the wife, we went up there. It was Halloween, and the mist was coming across the moors. It was pitch black. The pumpkins were roaring on the cobbled entrance. It was fantastic because when you drive up to it, it just pops out of nowhere. You know, where's that come from? But what we did, we had a couple of beers in the afternoon, and we found out a little story of something in the surrounding area, and I think it was called the Screaming Prince or something like that. If you drive down the road, going straight opposite the pub, so instead of going that way to Bodmin, right, or going back onto the motorway left, you go straight up, and there's supposed to be a story. There's a lake up there, and there's something about you can hear screams in this out there where a prince had drowned a girl in the pool, and it was actually in the hotel next door. There's a little plaque about it and stuff like that. So we thought we'll have a little drive down. So we drove down, parked up. We had a look down by the lake, but because there was branches snapping, it was pitch black. The wife absolutely shit herself. She was, "You take me home now. I'm going to go now." So anyway, we drove back with me and a couple of more ales. We thought, let's have a walk down. And as we walked down, Kev, there was a van in the field with all the doors open and no one about. And we thought, no, that's a bit dodgy. And then we heard gunshots, so obviously there was hunting. So we thought, you know what, let's go and get last orders, eh? But yeah, what a fantastic place. I mean, I stopped up till 2 a.m. trying to listen to the the coach wheels on the cobbles outside, because that's kind of a phenomena there, isn't it?
You know,
So
something.
I've never heard of it.
Not me neither. No.
It's like that. It's like that on Christmas Eve.
I am, yeah. But if you do say that, now you have got to stop in the old part, not the new part. You've got to stop in the old part.
Okay.
I get reports in the new part though.
Really?
Yeah, it was just quite surprising. Because obviously, Corinne Passant, she sort of keeps log of everything that gets recorded or anything else and reported. Yeah, and they actually get a lot of things happen in the new block, which is really strange. But a lot of what I've experienced has all been on the old side. So
Yeah, it is a fantastic block. I love it. I do absolutely love it. But Kev, have you heard of Room 101?
I certainly have. It makes me feel old, but
Yeah. Well, we do a thing called the Haunted Room 101, and this is your Haunted Room 101. So we are giving you a chance right now to banish 3 things from the paranormal, which can be banished into Haunted Room 101 forever. It could be people, TV, places, equipment, etc., etc. What's going in Kev's Room 101?
most haunted.
Oh, Neil, that's an original one. Get it in there.
I wrote that one down now.
Even though it was actually fantastic for at least 3 seasons.
I think, honestly, I think what it did to the paranormal as a whole has been massively negative. Positive, it's brought some brilliant people into the paranormal, no doubt about it. But behind that, it's brought so much negativity, so much, just a total change of the landscape. But as I said, I'd like to change the landscape of the paranormal, and kind of make it better and all that kind of thing. Whereas Most Haunted kind of changed the landscape of it, but they've made it worse. And then they've also kind of kept playing on that over the years. And so for me, if anyone's going in there, it'd be them.
Get him in, Neil.
Yeah.
Get him in.
Let me just write Derek. Okay.
Derek's a nice guy. No, he was.
Yeah. I know. Tell him on the show.
We've had him on the show, isn't it? Great to chat. Yeah.
Bless you.
What's your second thing, Kev?
I call it the paranormal fog, and it's this pedestrian idea of what a ghost is and what counts as evidence of ghosts. And found an orb, or I've got a picture of a bug that comes past a lens. All these sort of really basic things, if you just applied a very small amount of logic or critical thought, would just disappear. And once it disappears, you've got stuff to chew on and real paranormal situations to deal with, or more in-depth ones to deal with. I would get rid of all that, the paranormal fog. I just get it all out the way so that the masses of people that are in the paranormal now can kind of step forward with research and that kind of thing.
Good, Neil. Paranormal fog, that's another original answer, by the way. Very good answer. I totally agree with everything you just said. So your last choice, banish forever, Kev. Your last one.
We had Most Haunted, paranormal fog. The negativity and drama. The bullshit that comes with it, whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or whatever. Like, if you do it properly, there's nothing to fall out about. There's no need to go and attack someone. This coming from me, Mr. Parationalize, who I used to rinse the paranormal community, especially when I first came into it, and it was just like a mess. I used to be properly negative and horrible, and I'll always put that forward and say that's exactly what I was. I'd even put all my old work out if need be, because I evolved and changed as a person as I went through the paranormal, and I think everyone needs to do that. But the negativity sticks, and people do it for really selfish reasons and that kind of thing. I hate it. That's the worst part about the paranormal. That's the only bit that exhausts me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, the negativity and the bollocks, basically.
Yeah. Neil, put your bollocks in room 101.
The office.
Well,
I'm Space Hopper.
not 2 conkers. Anyway. So there you go. That's Haunted Room 101. Kev's Haunted Room 101. Fantastic, Kev. Fantastic. We actually got to go straight into this now because we've got 5 minutes left. This is called Kev's Quickfire 10.
Oh.
So basically, I'm going to give you 10 questions. You've only got to answer yes or no to the best of your ability.
I made this.
So, and actually, Orange wants to do this. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting.
Your corn read is right.
Can you read that, Neil? Yeah, you're blind as a bat. Deaf as a post, blind as a bat.
Right, Kev.
Yes or no answers?
Are Ouija boards a way to communicate with the other side, or just a load of old bollocks?
I can't yes or no answer that.
On the fence.
On the fence. I'll put on the fence on that one.
Yeah.
Can objects gain an attachment?
Say that again.
Can objects have an attachment?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Could you
take Bigfoot in a drinking contest?
Yes.
Yes. I'll give it you.
I was out with Laurie at the weekend.
He's always got a beer in his hand, Neil.
Oh no, she's that.
A man after my own heart. Neil, microphone's up there, don't yes. That's what I call you. Spawn pot.
Shut up, Dick. Splatty's off again, eh? Ben Elton. Right. Are craft beers better than witchcraft?
Yes.
Is the Venga bus better than a sucker bus?
No.
I'll stick up for your Venga bus, don't you worry about that.
No, that's cool limited, eh?
Could you beat a poltergeist at a game of Jenga?
Yes.
Are phone apps a load of shite?
Yes.
Do you believe in the stone tape theory?
No.
Is there more than us in this universe?
Yes.
And the last one, are ghosts real?
No.
Now, that was a plethora of different answers coming on there. Ouija boards, can't answer. Can have attachments, yes.
I couldn't answer the first question because it wasn't a yes or no question.
Are Ouija boards a way to communicate with the other side? Yes or no? Simple as that.
No. There you go.
Very interesting. I want to go back to the Venga bus.
I'm actually is the Venga bus better than a sucker bus?
Do you know what a sucker bus is now?
Yeah.
I'll admit, I misread that or misheard that in that sense. Yeah, Venga bus.
Yes.
Yay! What? We're going to Ibiza. Oh, that was him, don't worry.
That was a Venga boy.
Oh,
Venga Airways.
Venga Airways, that's the one.
Bring back some memories.
So everything we've talked about tonight, Kev, that you know, things have moved, and you might have saw an apparition, and obviously what happened for the new pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still think that ghosts aren't real? And on that bombshell right there, when you answer it, we'll call it a bloody night.
I do.
Actually, you're the second one in 2 weeks to give us the same answer.
Yes, I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah. So again, what do you think a ghost is? Is it? Do you think it's like you say, it's an imagination, or is it purely an energy? Because obviously you don't believe in the stone tape theory, which is the recording aspect. So what do you actually think is like this stuff?
I think it's part of being human, having a paranormal experience. I think it's an aspect of us that we just don't really understand enough of. We know scientifically and psychologically a lot of answers to what people think is a ghost now, but we don't want that to be the case because it's actually nice to have the mystical and all that kind of stuff behind it. So you almost can't allow yourself to be a believer if you are a paranormal investigator, because you have to remain critically minded to find the data to prove if it exists or not. So for me, I don't believe, but I know there's something, and it's part of being human that we experience.
Yes, Kev, if I had a hat on, I would take it off.
Yes. Totally agree with you there.
And on that bombshell there, people, on that bombshell right there, it's been an absolute pleasure, Kev. We've been done an hour, and so we're just going to slap you back in the green room. If you could hang on for 2 minutes, we'll just say our goodbyes here. But thanks for coming on. It's been absolutely bloody fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
So there you go, Neil. Another fantastic guest.
Yes, honest to God. The way these guests keep coming on, John.
I know, yeah.
You know, they're such good people.
Well, Buffy's Neil. You want one to come along. Before you know it, 4 have come along. Fantastic.
Duty free, John.
I know, well, it's 4 in this occasion, do you know what I mean? But absolutely, cheers, Kev. Absolutely brilliant answers. And do you know what? It's actually, I thought to myself, should we just ask fun questions? Or should we go all paranormal, technical? But that's just ain't us, is it, Neil?
No.
That just ain't us. Everybody else asks them kind of questions. Let us ask the stupid ones. You know what I mean? Paranormal Wayne's World, have some of that. Neil, any last words?
No, John. Just hope everybody has a good weekend. And,
Best you can.
Yes.
Best you can.
We're going to a festival again, aren't we, John?
We am, yes. We're after another festival. You know, drink some ales and watch some bands, and that's what it's all about, enjoying yourself.
Let me hair down.
Yeah. Anyway, please share the podcast, tell your friends, leave some comments and all that good stuff. And we'll see you in, I think it's 2 weeks when we got the paranormal detectives on, Nathan and Brian. So, Neil, we have a saying, don't we?
Yeah.
So this goes out to all you cryptid stalkers, all you horror junkies, all you ghost catchers, all you alien twitchers. If you are out investigating this weekend and you don't get any spirits, just do what we do. Neil, what do we do?
We drink them instead.
We drink them
Why
instead.
not? God bless you.
Have a good one.